Rolling.
There we are. Welcome. We're doing a foot activation series today. Basically, what we're trying to do is increase the mobility of all the toes and the foot, which helps us then to improve our balance when we're standing and when we're walking. So I just want to take you through the steps here of how we do some gentle mobilization. The most important thing to remember with this exercise is that you have control over the amount of pressure that you apply down on the dowel. What I have here, actually, I'll just show you, is just a piece of doweling. It's around about 1.5 inches, like that. And for a little bit of cushioning, all I have is a plain sort of hand towel that I've wrapped around just to give it a little bit of extra padding. Some folks find that having that extra padding just makes it a little bit more comfortable. As you get practicing with this technique, you may find you need that towel less and less, and you can actually get to the point where you can just use the dowel for your practice here. Okay, the setup is this. You want to make sure that you do have some support to hold on to for balance if you need that extra support. The first part of the warm-up series, what we're going to do is we're going to place the foot on the dowel, and we're just going to apply a nice downward, straight downward pressure on the dowel with different parts of our foot. So we come to the heel and just apply downward pressure, and then we move our way up the inside and outside of the arch, just like so. We're just exploring here, seeing how that feels. Just nice and easy. Shouldn't be ouchy. Here we go. And then you can explore, you can turn your foot in a little bit and find that inner arch of the foot right from the heel all the way up to the toes. And then you can do the outside as well. So turning your foot so that you can get from the heel there and all the way out to your fifth toe. And you might go, oh my goodness, I'm finding muscles I didn't know I had. And that's a good thing. We're waking up the sensory input from the foot that gives us signals about where we are in space and how we want to navigate with our environment. So this is a good thing. We're waking up here. So we do that for about a minute or two. And then what we do is we come back to our starting position. We're going to put the dowel sort of right underneath here, the mid part of the arch. We're going to put the dowel right there. And I'm going to step directly down onto it. Nice pressure, even pressure. The heel, if you can, some people might find this quite a bit of a stretch, but if you can, you're going to keep that heel down on the floor behind the dowel. And from here, we start to mobilize. So what you're going to do now is you're going to slowly curl your toes down without moving anything else in the foot or the leg. And then you lift your toes, and as you lift, you're going to try to spread those toes, and that's actually a really challenging thing to do if you haven't been used to doing it. You want to lift and spread your toes, and then you curl down and down as far as you can go comfortably. You will feel quite a nice stretch along the top of your toes here, okay, with that. So just be careful. You just want to go to a position that feels relatively comfortable there, but we are waking up the system. So curl and spread and reach and reach and reach for the sky, and then we curl down. So we do this about 4 or 5 times, like so. Then what we do is we move the foot so that the dowel is just behind the ball of the foot. So it's just behind the ball, right about here. And I'm directing my pressure down onto the dowel. My body weight is going down onto the dowel, and I do the same thing here. So I curl my toes down, get a nice stretch through the top of the toes. You might sometimes feel a little bit of cramping here. This is a good thing to release those cramps, actually, believe it or not. There we go, lifting those toes, spreading the toes as much as you can, and then curling your toes down and then lift and spread, and then back down. That's 2, and we'll do 3 more. So up, nice controlled pace, not doing this too fast, just feeling your way. Spread, and last time, coming up, spread the toes. Okay, so there's the first part. What you do, take your foot off of the dowel and just check in for a minute. See how that foot feels now in comparison to the other foot. Does it feel like it's a little bit more grounded? Does it feel flatter? Does it feel a little bit more relaxed? Might even feel a little bit tingly. Okay, getting that blood flow going, which is all good stuff to have happening there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to switch the dowel and we're going to position it so that it's running perpendicular or vertically in front of us. This is where the fun begins. There we go. So holding on to support, you're going to put your foot on the dowel, and the trick here is you want to see if you can separate out between the first and second toes around the dowel. Okay, and then from here, keeping a nice neutral alignment with your ankle, you want to slowly come up and see if you can bend your toes. And you go, oh my goodness, you'll feel a nice little stretch between the first and second toe when you do that. And you come back down. And we do this 4 or 5 times. There we go. What you're watching for with this is that you come up fairly square. You want to watch that you don't sort of literally almost fall off the dowel, that the ankle wants to go out to the side. You want to try to keep your foot nice and square on that dowel. Keep the ankle in that neutral position, okay, as you're coming up and down. So we'll do a couple more here. Nice, like so. Might feel here a few pops and cracks along the way. That's all good. Just opening up the tissues. So now we're going to do the same thing here. And if you need to, you're going to reach down and you're going to manually spread between your second and third toe now. And up you go again. There we go. Reach for the sky with the heel. Feel that stretch between the second and third toe. Keeping the ankle as square as you can. Don't let it flail out to the side. And we'll just do a couple more here. There we go. And up. Like so. And you guessed it, we're going next door. Spread between third and fourth. Starting to get a little harder now. There we go. Still keeping the foot on the dowel, keeping good pressure down. There we go. And we're going to see if we can flex. Flex and flex and flex. Come up nice and square. Go only as far as you feel comfortable. Please don't force this at all. The idea is to gradually increase your mobility. You may find that the toes are, wow, they're really stiff. So just take your time with this process. There we go. One more. Coming up. And back down. And between the pinky toe and the fourth toe, that little guy, poor little guy, very much underappreciated part of the foot, but it has as much of a role in helping us to balance, believe it or not, as the big toe. It's very much a part of our lateral stability network, and we want to give that some love too. Okay, just getting right in there and mobilizing, and keep me honest here about the ankle position. You can see how I want to flail out there. So I'm going to really work hard to try to keep that coming up as square as I can. And that takes work. There we go. And one more time, just for good luck. And we're done on that series. Just to finish off, while the dowel is in the vertical position, we just go back and do a nice little pressure point again. And my hope is what you notice is that the bottom of the foot actually feels quite relaxed now. It doesn't feel as sensitive to the downward pressure that you're putting through it. It actually feels really quite nice. And we just work our way. You can play with this a little bit, just kind of work your way across the foot on the diagonal there, whatever feels good. And we just do that for 30 seconds to a minute. And when you're done, take that foot away and see what you notice. How does that feel now? Does it feel like it's even more grounded? Do you feel each of your toes actually making contact with the ground? You can actually feel the ground under each toe. So often we can't. We just feel almost numb to our environment. So this is a great way to wake up that sensory input. Okay, there we have the foot activation series. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions, give me a shout. Thank you.